Hey YouTube, this is Raj, and today I'm going to be talking about the axe enchantments in Minecraft. It's definitely an overlooked tool in Minecraft, so definitely there's going to be some different things that you can enchant your axe with. And this is basically just going to be a summary of all of the enchantments and how to enchant your axe. If you're interested, I've been doing individual videos on the individual enchantments, so you can check those out and see how they work on the axe specifically. But this is a summary, so why don't we get started? So let's talk about the axe enchantment in Minecraft. Basically, the axe is sort of an interesting how do I describe it? It's interesting because it's sort of a tool, but it also can be used as a weapon. I mean, you can't really attack a mob with a shovel. That would be it would be cool if you could, because that would be a great sound to hit a mob with. Anyways, I'm talking about axes, if I remember correctly. Basically, you can use it as a weapon or you can use it as a tool. There are different enchantments to consider when doing that. So I'm going to be talking about the specific ones that make it a weapon, which ones are better for using it as a tool, the ones that are good for durability, and the ones to completely avoid. So the ones that specifically increase the melee damage. So the thing that's interesting about the axe is actually it does more damage than the sword. So the sword does about 7 and the axe does about 9. But the big difference between the two is that swords have way more enchantments that make them useful as a weapon, as where axes only really have one enchantment to use as a weapon. So the one specific enchantment to use it to increase the melee damage is these three enchantments. So they are not compatible with each other. I also put the signs wrong. The numbers next to each thing is the maximum level. For this category, it's 5, not 4. So the least useful of these three enchantments is Bane of Anthropods. So Bane of Anthropods, basically, it's when you attack things like spiders, cave spiders, and ender mites. So basically, it increases the damage. The amount of damage at level 5 is about 12. So you're increasing. So pretty much you could almost kill a spider just with this enchantment on an axe. But the problem is it's not a huge category. I mean, spiders aren't that big of a problem in Minecraft where you have to worry about use this enchantment. So the next enchantment, which is a lot more useful than the Bane of Anthropods, is Smite 5. So what Smite does is it basically kills undead mobs. And undead mobs in Minecraft is a huge category. A huge category. So it involves things like zombies, drowned, skeletons. There's a huge giant list of different mobs that you can basically attack with this. And it's same as Bane of Anthropods. It does 12 extra damage. So it's actually a pretty good enchantment to have. Especially with an axe, you could do about 20 damage, I'd say. So you might be able to kill some mobs even with one hit. So it's definitely a good enchantment. And the next one is a general kind of overall enchantment for melee damage. So Sharpness does damage to any mob. It increases the damage by 3 at level 5. So it's quite a big difference from these two, but at least this one you can attack everything. And that's pretty much the only melee damage increases you can do with an axe. I would say if you're considering using an axe as a weapon, be prepared for because it's pretty limited. You don't really have many options for enchantments and how to increase the damage it does. Pretty much you should just stick with a sword because swords have a lot of enchantments you can do and it's more useful as a weapon. You should probably just use an axe as a tool. So I'm just going to go through the ones that are specific to it being a tool. So efficiency 5, not 4, is very useful in chopping down wood. It increases the speed that you chop it down. Obviously, anybody that's played Minecraft knows how painful it is to chop down wood just with your hand. So obviously, efficiency 5 increases the speed you can chop wood, which is really useful. So the next two enchantments are Silk Touch and Fortune. So these are incompatible with each other. Silk Touch basically allows you to, when you're mining a block, it drops the block, not necessarily drops. So a good example of this that's specific to axes is bookshelves. So with bookshelves, when you chop it down and you mine it, it drops books. So instead, with Silk Touch, what it does is it drops the bookshelf itself. So that's actually more useful, because when you're just mining the bookshelf and it just drops books, you're losing the planks and you have to pretty much use more resources to create a bookshelf again. As where with Silk Touch, you're just grabbing the bookshelf itself. So the next one is Fortune 3. So this increases the amount of items that you get. From what I've seen, it's more specific to things like minerals. It's not as useful with shovels and axes, from what I've read. With shovels, it's actually kind of painful because it adds more flint when you're mining gravel. And I didn't find anything that said it was overly great, or there was anything that was specific to axes. So this might not even be worth getting at all, and the Silk Touch may be not worth getting either. So the next one adds some durability. Unbreaking 3, this is pretty much on every tool you should have Unbreaking 3 if you can possibly afford it. So basically this adds durability. So at level 3, it increases the amount that you use, that when you're using it, it decreases the durability by a chance of 25%. So it's possible to have 4 times the amount of durability when you have Unbreaking 3, which is a huge amount. Now the next one is Mending 1. So Mending 1 is one of the most useful enchantments in Minecraft. Basically what it does, if you're not familiar, is when you get XP, instead of going into your that bar of XP that you get as a player, it goes towards the tool that you have in your hand, or the tool that you're equipped with at that time. So if you're down to like a really small amount of durability on your axe, you can get some XP and it will recharge the durability of the axe. So 1 XP will restore 2 durability. So this might be, it's kind of hard because if you're using it as a weapon, it might get you some XP, and there's not a lot of things with an axe that will get you XP in using an axe. But if you use an XP bank, that is something newer in Minecraft since 1.14, mending is definitely useful on anything now. And the only thing you should completely avoid is the Curse of Vanishing, which is pretty straightforward. Basically, if you die, that weapon is gone. You can enchant it as much as you want, but Curse of Vanishing, it's gone. So basically, just watch what specific things you're enchanting with. Make sure that you avoid this. It should be in red, so completely avoid that red text and watch what you're specifically enchanting things with. So looking at this overall, I would say I would categorize an axe more as a tool specifically. It's not really that useful as a weapon. I would say Unbreaking and Efficiency are the most useful enchantments. You can have these if you want, but I don't think they're that useful with an axe. But I would say those two. Mending if you have a lot of mending books. But overall, it's actually, one of the things that might be nice about an axe is you don't have to do a lot of enchantments for it to be useful, or drop more items or something like that. So it's definitely an easy one to enchant and not very pricey. So I would definitely consider that in how you're enchanting your axe. So that was the axe enchantment guide in Minecraft. I hope that was helpful for you guys. Definitely gave you some ideas about how to specifically enchant the axe. I would say as a weapon it's not that useful. As a tool it's very useful, and there aren't a lot of enchantments that you need to put on it, maybe 2 or 3. So it's definitely one that you don't have to expend a lot of enchantment levels to actually enchant. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any more questions about those specific enchantments and you thought that you wanted some more detail, I've done videos on every single enchantment in Minecraft, so that you can basically go through that and see what the pros and cons of each enchantment is. So you can check that out. So if you like my content, please give me a like. If you want me to keep producing content, please give me a subscribe. And you can always leave a comment. I appreciate that and always read the comments. Stay classy, YouTube. This is Rock.